Salon and Day Spa, located at 41 West Main Street in Northeast Pennsylvania, proudly supports Chautauqua Sunrise and its volunteers. More information at bellasalonanddayspa.net. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. From the Access Channel 5 studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Channel 5. Continuing the traditions of Senior Report, we are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week, countywide, from 9 to 10 a.m. Join us by calling in live, emailing us, or checking out our social media. And now, from the Channel 5 studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels with you this morning, Saturday, December 17th. The last show of this year. It's hard to believe. We've done a half a year's worth of programming, and it just seems like we started yesterday. It's incredible, but we're having a great time and lots of fun, and I hope you've been enjoying the programming that we've been providing you every Saturday, and we hope to be doing it for many, many years to come. Well, we had a green Christmas, didn't we? I have heard no complaints. I was thinking, the day after Christmas last year, we were in the middle of a horrendous snowstorm. We were picking up my second oldest son, Sean, and his family up in Buffalo, and there were so many of them, we had to use 2 cars to get everybody to our house, and it was a white knuckle ride the whole time, and it seemed like from that point till April, it was the tough, cold, nasty, miserable winter. And yesterday, it was like 45 degrees and sunny. I took a great walk along Barcelona Beach and just kind of soaked up some sun rays and just enjoying the fresh air, and just a real stark difference between the 2 Christmases last year and this year. So it's pretty incredible. Hope you're enjoying the holiday season, and I hope that you all had a great Christmas. And I know Kwanzaa started yesterday, and those that were that celebrate Hanukkah, I hope that all is going well for all of you. And any other holiday I can't think of right now, but those are the 3 biggies in the region. Christmas was busy at our house, at the Hamels home this year. We started out with the Hamels reunion with my family at our house. There was, I think I counted 17 that night. And then we had our immediate family, our children and their families, Tuesday before Christmas. I think that was 11, no big deal there. And then we had the Molson clan and the Wrights and my wife's side of the family. We had 24, and we had like 4 or 5 missing on top of that. So it was busy at our house. But you know, this time of year we're all cooped up and we don't see each other very much. But it was a lot of fun having all the generations all in the same room in the house, and kids zooming through here with toys and noisy things, and everybody sharing war stories from years past and Christmases, and sharing lots of fun. That's what it's all about, you know, keeping that oral tradition going in your families and so forth. So anyways, those of us that voted, I think it was last week or the week before, whether we were going to have a green or white Christmas. I saw all thumbs go up for white Christmas. You lost. You had a green Christmas for sure. But, you know, a lot safer that way for lots of us. So hopefully those that like to ski, they'll get enough snow somewhere along the line, and You'll be happy this winter as well. All right. Well, for those of you that had some interesting presents or gifts, you can give us a call here at the station at 753-5225, or you text us or Twitter us or whatever you want. We'll get that information. But you can call us and let us know what interesting present you might have gotten, or something special that happened in your family. Perhaps it was a new baby that was born, or someone got married, or engagement, whatever. Sky's the limit here. We're happy to share that news with everybody in Chautauqua County and well, actually the world, because we go onto YouTube and we're seen everywhere throughout the world. And I know this because I know that I have relatives that watch us over in Europe from time to time. Okay, my interesting present to share, I wanted to share, was this little gizmo here. I know it doesn't look like much. It looks like a band. And when I got it, I wasn't quite sure what it was. And my military son, Scott, of course, he likes all these little secret gizmo-y kinds of things. Oh, let's see if I can flash it. It tells you, hang on a second, I'll get this here. It tells you the time. Then you push it again, it tells you how many steps you've taken that day. Then it tells you how many miles you've walked. Yesterday I did 3.39 miles. And then how many calories you burned. It's called a Fitbit. I've never seen this before. So far I got, let's see here. I've walked 1,270 steps. I didn't think I did that many, just from here to the truck. But you know, it adds up real quick. And according to this, I've walked 0.62 miles. You know, we do a lot more walking in our lives than we realize, and you're supposed to do 10,000 steps a day, I think, to stay healthy. I haven't quite got there yet. I got up to 7,000 the other day, but anyways, the interesting thing about this is not just a little thing that sits on your wrist and that, it syncs with my iPad. And this thing, if I wear this at night, Randy, this is crazy. It tells you how you sleep. It tells you if you're restless. Evidently, if you flip over, it records it. Kind of scary. And if you get up in the middle of the night and do something that you need, a nature call or something, it tells you you were awake. And there's a little bar on there. It tells you how many calories you burn. You burn calories just sitting still. It tells you put in your weight and your height and all that stuff. So this fits right in with my project this year, is to trim down and to get back in some of those jeans I've got stored. And anyways, but this is new technology. It's very cool. And at the end of the day, I pull out my iPad, I look at what I accomplished for the day, and you can do other kinds of things. You can put in things what you eat, and it tells you if you've plus or minus on the calories. You always want to be minus on the calories, because hopefully you're burning calories and you're burning more calories than you're taking in, and that's how you slowly lose weight, and that's the secret of all that. Okay, enough on that. But anyways, if you have an interesting gift, let us know. If you have an event for your organization, some news, as you know, we'll put up a graphic for your club if we have that information, or if we have a photo from you, we can share that with everyone. And today we have nothing. You just got me and the crew. Today's show is going to be a little different. We're going to be bringing on our volunteer crew that I work with, and I'm very happy to work with, and we're going to just spend some time letting you know about them and behind the scenes kinds of things. And you never know with these guys, you never know what they're going to say, so stay tuned for that. One of the things I do want to tell you is that in the coming months, you can have a voice in what we do here. You can email us and text us and all that stuff, get a hold of us, go on our Facebook site, you can message me, the crew, and if there's some topic or a particular speaker that you want to have us bring on, let us know, and we'll try our very best to get that person or organization. We have a number of different areas that we're going to be covering in the near future. We had Bill Ward here and Amanda Barton, and I'm going to continue to have some other musical guests here. And stay tuned next week. It's going to be real interesting. I won't tell you about it yet, because we never try to tell you too much, because with the weather and all, we don't want to disappoint you. But we're going to have various people throughout the year that are involved with the music world and the arts, government, senior issues, senior services, veteran services. I do know that we're going to have some folks coming on and talking about economic development and what's going on in the county, and how we're working to cut the debt and to create jobs and so forth. And I wrote something here, and I don't know what that says, so I'll just skip it. But we have just a variety of topics that we hope to be covering, education and so forth. But we're not going to try to stay heavy in one particular area, but bounce around. And of course, the main thing is to look at what's going on here in Chautauqua County, look at the good things, and bring you information. And that's really what this is all about. I've said it time and time again to my friends anyways here in the county, is we read the paper and we get information that way, and we listen to the radio, but so much of the radio is becoming network, big network stuff that's not a lot of local sometimes. And depending on where you live in the county, you don't always get some of the local radio stations, for instance, WJTN, SE93, and so forth. You get over towards our side of the county, it's really kind of hard to pick it up. So sometimes we don't communicate real well with ourselves. So we're hoping that this is one more chink in the whole chain of things that goes on in this county, that we can bring you information, have you the opportunity, give you the opportunity to call in. This is a live show, and to ask a question or two. Okay? So anyways, we're happy that you joined us this morning. I'm Doc Hamels. You're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. We're going to do a cutaway right now for a public service announcement, and we're going to start with one of our crew here, and I hope you're going to find this interesting. Stay tuned.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
And we're back. Good morning, everyone. I'm Doc Hamels, and you're still watching Chautauqua Sunrise. This morning, I wanted to give you folks an idea of what really goes on here behind the scenes, because you see me every week, but you don't really get to see the guys that really are the movers and shakers here at the studio. What I do is relatively easy. I talk. I've been doing it all my life. Well, since I was 4 anyways. But we got some very important people here, and we want to start right off with Chris Burt. And good morning, Chris. Welcome.
Good morning.
Welcome to this side of the camera.
Not often you get to sit here, unless obviously guests might be a little late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
Then it happens.
Chris has been our fill-in guest if we get.
Well, not just me. My dad did it too.
That's true.
He did a whole show, and
That's right. That's right. Everybody jumps in and does what they got to do. Chris, I know that you've been associated with Access 5 for some time now. Can you give us a little background in that?
Well, I started as a freshman in high school when I was here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 2005, and now it's 2014, so just about 9 years.
Holy mackerel. So you almost like you grew up here.
Well, yeah, in my later years I have.
So, and you started when it was it was over Chautauqua
yeah,
school?
at the school.
Mm-hmm.
So we went through, and we've done a lot of stuff since then. I think, God, it was senior report number 500 by that point or something. So it's been a while.
Yeah. Chris, I have a series of little questions here that I jotted down just to kind of outline things. When people say, well, what's he do over there? And I always give you a name. I don't even have a title for you. I just say you're the IT guru. But what's your role here?
We do all sorts of things here. I mean, sometimes I work in the back when, our Jeff's off or doing something. So we do the switching, the video switching. And other times I'm monitoring the social media and sending you questions that people submit.
Right. That's right here on my iPad, our
exactly.
Twitter.
And other times, we're trying to fix technical issues or whatever during the live show.
There's things going on that I don't know about?
Oh, maybe. Sometimes. You never know.
Wow.
Isn't that the best thing, that you never know
there's
a problem?
You're the man. You're behind the scenes.
That's what we try to do is, fix different issues and analyze them as they're going on, too, to see, what might be the problem. Problem solving is a big thing.
Mm-hmm. So what got you involved with this as a freshman? I mean, it's not every freshman that I know that want to get up Saturday mornings and come out here and hang out with.
Actually, it was my dad.
It's your dad's fault.
Well, him and Reed together, they plotted to get me involved. I took TV production in high school as my freshman year, just as a fun class, and then my dad will tell the rest of the story. Basically, I came involved through that and became very interested in what they do here. So
Okay. Now, I don't think people really appreciate the studio from a technical point of view. I know Jeff has his job behind the wall, and your dad will talk about his role. But when I go through the other offices, I see you jumping from room to room and stuff like that. There's all kinds of boxes and lights and switches and all kinds of stuff. So what's all involved that you have to like take care of here?
well, we have the studio equipment itself, which is what the studio here and this control room and all of that makes everything for a live show. We have field equipment so that you can take a camera out into the field and film things. Like we film often, well, we do the parade and stuff. We take the equipment out for that. And there's repair that goes with those, and there's, testing. Before the parade, we do probably a week's worth of testing, trying to get everything to make sure it works. And
How much do you get paid to do all this?
nothing.
Right.
It's all free.
It's a passion, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any goals in life to take this to a higher level?
No, not really.
It's just like people who have ham radios or collect coins or
Exactly.
whatever.
It's-
TV is your hobby, I guess, huh? Well, you do a really good job.
And
Chris,
then we have an editing system
Okay.
here, and we have an iMac as
okay,
well.
wait, editing. What do you mean by that? I mean,
Well,
what most people think of editing is you get a piece of, somebody types something up and you sit down and you correct their grammar, but you're talking about something totally different.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about putting a bunch of video clips together and making a final video, add graphics over top of it so that, you get the little title, it pops up underneath.
How hard is that?
Well, once you get into it, it's not that hard. I mean, it may be, I'm still trying to teach my dad, but my dad sometimes needs to be very carefully explained how to do something.
Well,
But
that's
for
true.
some
A lot of
people,
it,
and technologically inclined people, it's a little bit easier than people who are not technologically inclined.
Right.
So, I mean, because it's all done on computers nowadays. I mean, it used to be done tape to tape or reel to
Splicing
reel. Or
and-
it's similar to splicing. You're just doing it on a computer basis. So instead of your little roll of film there, you have a virtual roll of film that you're going through, and you say cut here, and then you can overlay a title over that. And
So
stuff
you're
like
really
that.
cutting, you're copying, pasting, reducing,
Exactly, you're
and trimming.
stuff like that, and eventually when you're finished, you get a finished product.
Is that how they do things like more and more in Hollywood? The same idea?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Final Cut, which we have here, is they use in Hollywood. Some of the other programs, they're ones they use in Hollywood as well. So I mean,
Now, I don't think a lot of people realize, but you are responsible for the entire introduction of this show. That whole intro, right?
yeah, I put that together. Once we got our new iMac, and I was playing around with Final Cut there.
So I mean, this is really incredible for me, to come in and talk, and then to have this wonderful introduction with music, and I know you've already changed some of the scenes in there. I mean, is that hard to do?
Once you get it set up, it's actually not really that hard
So
to do. You
just
just
take that piece,
you just drop a
out
new
it comes?
one in, and it's not
Just has to be the right size to pop in there. I would say.
exactly. And the computers are very specific. They'll say, it needs to be such and such long, and you can just drop it over and say, do you want to trim it to this specific length? Then it just appears right in there, and you're all...
Chris, I think I know that you grew up in this right around here, but were you born and raised in this area? Or?
Yeah, I was born in Jamestown. We lived in DeWittville until I was 14.
Is it DeWittville or DeWittville? That's people. It's the raging.
I always said DeWittville, so...
I've heard people say DeWittville.
I don't know. It's
Okay, so you-
different people, different ways. All I know is that the computer doesn't like the way it's spelled.
Throws it out.
You got to add it to the dictionary.
Okay,
because it
so you
doesn't-
lived in DeWittville,
And then we moved into Mayville, and now we're in Jamestown.
okay, and so you went to school at Chautauqua Lake?
Exactly.
Chautauqua, and then the Chautauqua Lake? Or-
No, actually, the class of 2009 was the first class that started in kindergarten right after the merger
Oh.
and graduated. So it was the first class to go the entire duration at the new merged school.
So you,
I mean, we moved through. We started here at Mayville, and then we moved in third grade to Turner, and then we went up to the new school.
Okay.
But we did our whole time under the new district.
Okay,
name,
great. We got a phone call already. Good morning, caller.
Oh, good morning, Doc. This is Mike Felsman from Portland.
Hey,
calling.
Mike from Portland. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you? How are you?
I'm great. Did you have a good holiday?
I did.
Good
I
for you.
did. Hey, can you hear me okay?
I hear you perfectly.
Oh, good.
I can hear.
Oh, good. Well, Chris, I have a question for you, and I just want to make a comment. One, I'm obviously watching the show right now. I wouldn't be calling in. And I just wanted to, congratulate you on your 6-month anniversary.
All right.
With Chautauqua Sunrise.
This is the 26th show.
Mostly I watch you in reruns. But this morning I am home.
All right.
And I knew I wanted to call in because I knew you'd have the crew on.
Yeah.
And I just want to, I admire what you can do with the TV studio. I'm going to date myself by saying tapes because I know it's probably not tape anymore.
No, we use DVDs now. So,
okay. All
and
right.
digital recordings and stuff. So we got away from VCR tapes a little while ago.
Okay.
We still have a whole bunch of old VCR tapes that we don't even use anymore. But
So do I.
and we have all sorts of archives on old VHS tapes. So.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I did want to just give a shout out to Doc and the whole crew. I've met most of you anyways, and I wanted to call in. This is a good point, Chris. You were talking about video editing and editing the theme music, and my main question is, I like the new music. Where did you get it from? I mean, is it a song that's, say, out there somewhere in the world on another DVD? Or are they clips, music clips? I know...
We have a
Great question.
We have a company that we've gotten most of our music through, and we have to pay a license fee in order for us to use that. So it's through a specific company, and if you want it, I could give you the name.
Yeah.
Basically, what it is they have pre-made music, and I gave Doc a bunch of CDs, and I said, here, try and figure out something new, because he didn't want, the trumpet tune anymore. So, no, it's through a company, and we pay a license fee ahead of time to be able to use that. We have several of those up here so that we can use them for all of our productions. So.
Hey, Mike, the funny backstory behind that is Chris gave me those tapes, or CDs, I should say, and Barb and I were in Savannah, Georgia. I'm holed up in a Hampton Inn, and I said, well, I got to figure out what music I want for the show, because we were in the throes of trying to do the transition from Senior Report to Chautauqua Sunrise. And so I listened to like 2 or 3, and I kind of honed it down. I said to Barb, I like this one. She said, that's all right. I go, how about this one? She goes, yeah, I like that one. Yeah, so do I. It was really upbeat, and so it was one of these licensed pieces. And what they do is they have like a 30-second one, they have a 10-second one, and then an extended play, but it's the same song, and it just sort of kind of loops itself.
Yeah, they do different cuts so that you can use different versions of that.
Right.
Or in this case, I edited our own version of
Right.
that, so we have a 30-second and a 60-second cut.
Right. So good question, Mike. Anything else?
No, I think that's about it. Although it is interesting. I guess you could say I watch YouTube, and I've always been a fan of the television shows of the 60s and the 70s. And in somewhere and all that, I was reading, even back then, they had something very similar to pick up, either theme musics or like transition musics in those older shows. So I guess at least that part of it hasn't changed a whole lot over several years.
It's really pretty basically the same when you think about it, except just there's
There's a lot of
technology.
clearinghouses for music around there that, if you want to use a newer song, you go through one, and if you want to use, pre-made ones, they've got a bunch of companies out there for that as well. So I mean, you can use the latest, I don't know, Katy Perry song or whatever you want.
Right, but you got to pay.
But you got to pay, and obviously different ones have way different amounts, and there's blanket coverages that'll cover all of it and stuff. Because
your local companies, they'll purchase canned pieces. Or when I was at Bosie's, we had a company actually make custom music for the youth center, and we had the licensure for that for I think 5 years or something like that. So it's an industry unto itself, though. It's interesting, though.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for calling, Mike. You have a good New Year, huh?
All right, you too.
Oh, you keep watching us. Okay.
I will.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, Chris, so you and I have been kind of like thinking about something coming up here, and we won't go into great detail, but what we have like a landmark situation coming up here in about a month or two. You want to tell the viewers a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, we have, when Senior Report ended, we had 967, I think it was, episodes total of Senior Report throughout its entire run.
That's unbelievable.
Almost 19 years, just over 19
And
years.
what am I up to? 20 what?
You're 26.
I'm only 940 to go.
Whatever it is, when you add the new Chautauqua Sunrise with the old Senior Report,
which is a spin-off of that, you know?
Exactly, and so that's all of the Saturday morning shows that have aired since 1995 when the station started. You get a nice 1,000 number here, and that'll be on February 28th, 2015.
Right. So
I had to stop myself because I almost said 2014.
we're not going to tell you anything about what's happening that day, but we're planning something special, and it can involve you, our viewers. So hopefully, as we go along, we'll give you little snippets of what we have planned, but we're talking about some ideas. So, Chris, how do you keep track of all this stuff?
Well, every week, at least for programming, we have to write down in a log all of our programming, and then at the end of the year, we count up all of our new programs and stuff. This year, we had 220 brand new locally produced shows. That includes 24 Senior Reports and 26 Chautauqua Sunrises.
Wow.
I figured that all out until this week's programming. So, along with church services and other stuff, you did some PSAs and stuff.
We did the debates.
There's the debates, there's the parades. Jeff did the Chautauqua Leadership Dinner. My dad did the airport dedication and lawnmower. Ronnie went around and chased lawnmowers. That's fun. So, I mean, we have a lot of different programs. So when you total them all up, we get 220 brand new programs for the year.
And it's all here at Access 5.
Exactly.
And it's programming that people can request, or people can actually come here and develop themselves if they want, right?
Yeah, I mean, they can come in and do a series just like you if they wanted to do a talk show about, you know, anything.
Right.
Or any other show. I mean, obviously there's certain things we can't do, but
for
the most part,
there's some rules and regulations.
We're pretty open to doing anything.
Now, I want to put a plug in for your show. People don't realize we have different shows here, and you may not always realize it, but let me see if I get this right. For instance, when we do the debates, when we did the 4th of July parade, that has nothing to do with Chautauqua Sunrise, technically.
Right.
It's your show.
That's a different show. That's
and it's called,
mine and my father's show, and we do it under Destination Chautauqua County.
Yeah.
So.
Different graphics, different introduction
exactly,
music.
Different everything. And those tend to be more out in the field stuff that we do, and then we'll come back. But like the debates, we just move everything right over into the corner, and we set up a whole new set here.
Yep.
And it's, you know, we built the podiums and everything for that. So we've done that for 2 years now.
Yeah, that's been great.
And next year we'll work on getting an early one with Hillary Clinton or something.
That'll be great. There won't be any room in here with all the Secret Service guards and everybody else. It's going to be interesting. Chris, what's your, we're going to be switching you up here with your dad in a minute, but do you have any particular favorite memory of all the years that you've been working here at the studio? Any particular show or guest or anything that pops out?
Oh, God, no. I'm trying to think of all the shows and stuff we've done. There's just so many. We've done everything. We went out and we filmed one year. We filmed football games and basketball games and stuff. So we've done lots of stuff. We filmed the Bluegrass Festival when they did have it. And I don't know, we've filmed all sorts of stuff.
It's challenging to do.
Oh, yeah, definitely when we have to lug, you know, all sorts of equipment out into the field. it gets to be a lot of work. But
Okay. Well, Chris, I do want to thank you on behalf of myself and the viewers. You've done a wonderful bang-up job, and I'm really looking forward to more years and more shows. And
oh yeah, I'm sure.
And I know you and I do a lot of discussions about things, and so Happy New Year, and I do appreciate what you do.
Well, let's put it this way: if we get to 52 new shows next year, it means you'll be at 78, I think. It is. So.
All right, well, folks, you are watching Chautauqua Sunrise, and I'm Doc Hamels, and we're just wrapping up with Chris Burt, our IT guru here, as I call him, and we're going to now move here to our next volunteer, one of our guys that keeps everybody laughing and hopping all the time. Every Saturday morning, I look at him, he looks at me. You look at me, but you can't see him. I want to bring on our Mr. Festival here, Randy Burt. Good morning, Randy.
Good morning, Doc.
You are in the spirit here, I see.
You notice I have too big of a head.
Your head's too big. Well, with
I'm really too big for.
with Photoshop, you can fix that.
Oh yeah. I can put you inside this, and bring
my
out
God.
a Doc.
No. Well, you're all ready for the new year, I see.
Oh, I'm ready.
You're ready, Ben.
Got a class reunion coming up.
And where's that at?
That's going to be at the Celeron Legion in July. It's going to be 40 years.
Yeah, but you didn't go to Celeron.
No, but we had a reunion there. I think it was our 25th, and it was really nice.
Did you say 43?
Yeah.
I'm older than you, so that's what I mean. All right, well, anyway, I got to think about this one a little bit. Okay, well, anyway, so what's your role here? Tell the folks.
I'm one of the camera operators.
You are the camera operator.
Did have a helper for a while. He got older. He started at 14, and once he got 18, it was job time. So I lost my helper, but any camera shots, good or bad, you can blame me usually for them.
Right, if my head's cut off.
Oh, yeah. That was one of the biggest things I learned was what we see in the viewfinder is not what you're seeing on the screen. There's a section that cuts off, so if we think you're in there, we got to keep looking because you might not have a head.
Over here, like this.
Yep. And a lot of times you get so involved in listening to the show, I'm supposed to be moving the camera. Like, wow, this is interesting.
But there's a way that you can communicate with Chris or to Jeff. How's that done?
Well, right now we don't because we did have
use the headset.
We had the headset, but the way we've set the cameras up now, we can't really walk around the studio.
Oh, okay. So the headset goes to each camera.
So mostly what we're doing now is we have two cameras stationary, one on the wide shot and one on you, and then the camera that's on me right now, we take and move that a little. So
okay, let's play with Jeff. You ready? Okay. Folks, you may not realize this, but right now you're on camera. Let's call it number 1. This is the camera for the host. Okay, let's go to camera 2 that's on our guest. Go. Whoa, magic! That's a separate camera. And then let's go to camera 3. Bang! Thank you, Jeff. Magic. So we have 3 different shots, just like you would in a network on the big stations. And Randy has to set these things up, and he does close-ups, right?
Close-ups, real close, real wide. Chris is showing you can
there you go.
Wiggle it around. Happy New Year.
Right.
This is our New Year's show because it'll be 2015 next year.
Right, and so just for the folks to understand, Randy sets the scene with the camera. You capture a scene, and then Jeff, who will come on in a little while, will explain what he does, but he has a choice of whether he wants to do a wide angle or close up, or depending on what scene you've set, so he can switch back and forth between the 3 cameras, right?
I appreciate that because besides doing that, he's got to pop up the titles,
right?
Check the sound, play any CDs, DVDs we have, and
right there you go. There's your.
It's not just sitting there pushing a button. I promise you. I started TV back in around '75 at JCC, and my first show we did was like a news show, and I had to run the controls.
Oh, you were the engineer.
I was the engineer, whatever you call it. It's been so long, but we had to crank cameras and
Was it
big reel-to-reel tapes, and our soundboard had big knobs on it like this. Now they're just a little
tiny,
move
like,
it back.
It's almost like a little computer game, right?
Oh yeah, that's why I'm not good at it anymore. But we did have a sound guy. I mean, for like videos, we were projected an 8mm movie onto a screen with a camera aimed at that. We had a slide projector. We could take slides, and it would project into the system, and the recording was just a big reel-to-reel thing, and it's like,
wow.
it was interesting, but it was like, what, 30 some odd years till after I really actually got involved. One day I'm up to the Sea Lion ship, and Reed Powers is up there. And I knew the guy. I mean, I've seen this guy somewhere, and he was talking, and he's looking for pictures of the Sea Lion to show on his TV show, and then it snapped because I'd watched, you watch local TV stations because you're nosy. You want to know what's going on in the community.
Oh, yeah. You want to be informed.
I was living in DeWittville, and it's like I'm watching Senior Report, and it's like, it's from Mayville, it'd be cool to go see it. So Reed invited Chris and I in because I told him Chris was taking TV production at school, and
Sure.
like 9 years later, plus, we're still here. He couldn't get rid of us.
Right. Hey, well, while you're mentioning that, I will extend an invitation if there's a young folk out there, or anybody really, that has an interest in the show or learning about broadcasting, that want to be an intern or a volunteer, contact us here at the station, and we can work something out. We've had different people.
Oh my gosh,
over the
we've worked
years,
with a lot of students. They do teach TV production at Chautauqua Lake,
Right.
and I mean they had our old studio, which they built a new middle grade studio. I think the elementary has a studio.
Were you at the original studio ever?
No.
I was Reed. Just like you said, Reed would see you, and the next thing you know, you're on TV with him. I kind of do that these days. But the first one was down at the railroad station down at the bottom of the hill here. And I'm not trying to insult anybody, but it looked like there was egg cartons on the walls, and it was a very small studio, as I recall. And I think he had a desk. It was just a wooden desk. He sat in the desk, and the guests sort of sat where the drawers were. So it was like, you're like, gee, Reed, and it was just a 1 or 2 camera shot at the time. Maybe it was just 1 camera shot. I don't remember.
Something I talked to Chuck about when they were moving down here. We need a different table because
Right.
we had a desk like that up at Chautauqua Lake, and it was like bumping.
It was the same desk.
You get Fred Crosscut or
Yes,
something.
yeah,
in there?
yeah, 7'10", and there's Reed.
I mean, I had a ball with Fred. When Fred was on our show with Reed, I got little Reed, big Fred, and you got to zoom back on the camera every time you move it. So it was, it's a challenge. I always liked somebody about the same size, where you can just turn the camera back and forth. But I got my shot at TV. I interviewed Jane Curry from the DeWittville Cheese House, was my first guest. I tried to go with Reed's format. I wrote everything down, and I blanked. I was out of questions, not even halfway through the show, but Jane was fantastic. I'd been down. She talked to me before the show, about how cheese is made and how it works. So we got through the show, and after that, I watched you. Reed had you while he was on a cruise. And I know one of the things Reed calls in when he was on a cruise, he'd call in. Well, that week, he was somewhere where he couldn't call in the first week. He'd take 2 cruises. He'd leave New York, go down to the Caribbean, come back, turn right around and go back. Well, this first week he didn't call, so Doc's got a cell phone. So Doc picks his cell phone up.
I forgot about that.
Reed. And he acts like he's talking to Reed Powers, and I'm like, oh, this is cool, So the next time I did the show, it was like I wrote the guest's name so I wouldn't forget who he was or she, and it's like, heck, we're writing it all down. We'll just let it flow, and I mean, it works so much better.
Yeah. What I do here, you guys, you probably see me do this every single week. I don't walk in with really anything, but I sit down for like 3 minutes, and then I just jot down a bunch of just bullets of things that I want to talk about. And people say, how do you do that? And I say, I've been doing it all my life. When you're a musician and a superintendent of schools, a teacher, whatever, it just flows after a while if you just have a little bit of an outline. So that's all you really need.
Oh, really?
It works well.
I took public speaking, but I'm terrible at speaking.
Randy, you've been a world traveler. A lot of people don't realize that. I mean, no, really. You've traveled a lot more than...
51 trips. I've been around the world 2 times, 10 times to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And I used to just do it on the weekend. When I started traveling in the 80s, we had an airline. It was like $19 airfares to Newark. So you go to Buffalo, you'd fly to Newark, and then they kept expanding, and they would put their schedule in the paper and a set of prices. And I watched this. I got the Buffalo paper just to find what new destination they were going to. And every time they went to a new destination, I had to fly to it. And, you know, it was like $99 each way to the West Coast back then.
Really?
I never got to fly on them to Brussels because they started flying to Belgium. But
Brussels is a wonderful
I took my mom,
city.
After my second trip on them from Newark to L.A., I took my mother. Now we come into L.A. at nighttime. You know, it's dark with all the lights. And she was just amazed. The only problem was we got to L.A. and Randy wants to see the upstairs of a 747. I'll be right back. So I go up and they show me the upstairs of it, which is just a little version of the downstairs. And she thought I'd left her, but oh my gosh, traveling was just fun, and I didn't have a computer. I called airlines. You could use American Airlines. You could use telephone like a computer, and I found the cheapest airfares. I took Chris to Hawaii twice. Once without his mom because she was pregnant for his brother. And we went over and we had a ball. The Japanese loved Chris because he was short and fat. Short, fat, and blonde back then, and he was happy. So the Japanese had to take his picture, but the first trip over from St. Louis to Honolulu, we had the whole plane. There was hardly anybody on there. A drunk lady chased him one way. A Japanese chased him the other way. One time I totally lost Chris. He was just learning to walk. He wasn't even 2 yet. He was probably a year and a half.
That was pretty gutsy, taking a little guy like that.
I walked around the plane, and on the other side of the plane, there's Chris sitting on a flight attendant's lap. It's like, oh my gosh.
He's a little flirt.
All the way over to Hawaii, and it was like...
Now, you've been to other countries. I know you told me you've been to Egypt and India.
Been to Egypt, India. I've been to Israel for just to stop over because of... I was supposed to fly Paris to Cairo. Well, they changed their days, and I was on such a tight schedule. The travel agent had me fly on TWA to Tel Aviv, and I got on LL Israel there and flew into Cairo about 5 hours later than I was supposed to, but I didn't think I was getting out of Tel Aviv. They're like, why are you here? You know, and it's like, how can you afford to travel? They interrogate you like, first thing you get off, you know, and you got a tank sitting there. You get off the plane. You don't get right off at the terminal. Got to ride like a shuttle bus.
I've done some of those.
And it's like, yeah, I just left Europe. Europe wasn't bad, but I'll tell you. But I did learn the first trip about jet lag. 3 different times on this trip, I was so jet lagged, I just wanted to...
It's hard to explain. Just
sleep for like 24 hours.
Sucks the energy right out of you.
And I was trying to hit as many countries as I could.
Now, you're an avid photographer. I know that. You torture me every week. I've had pigeons in my face. I've been turned into a guitar. I've been sitting up on a skyscraper or something. I think you had me once, or out in the middle of the jungle. So how do you do all that? I mean, what's the deal?
It's just a photo program with the age of computer. It's called Photoshop.
So how do you get me out of the picture?
Well, you try to have a plain background, and you're able to use a tool on there and just cut you right out of it. Once you cut you out, you can put anything in the background. It's like a green screen for TV. You know, when you're watching something, it's not really there. It's a screen, and it looks like you're going over Niagara Falls or something. So, I mean, it's fun. Once in a while, you actually get a picture to look almost real.
Now, folks, I think I've mentioned this before, but now you have a face with the name. Right behind Randy is a picture that you took for our set here. And you want maybe just tell us real quick about that?
Well, the picture I got here is, I'm not sure if you can see it, is a bicycle. I just happen to be in Bemis Point. I do a lot of hanging out in Bemis. I'll operate the Bemis Stowe Ferry, and the light was just perfect. You know, it's coming down to a sunset. Somebody had a bicycle sitting there, and it's not just a bicycle. Look at the color in that bicycle.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
It is just sitting there, and it's like...
Yeah, we're so fortunate to have you and Jeff that really have just a wonderful eye for photo, and it's great.
When I first took it, it's like, I didn't really like it, but you guys thought it was...
Oh,
we got to have this.
We have to have it. It's absolutely gorgeous.
So we put that up to today I'm planning on running down to Chautauqua, my favorite time of year. I chase the sleigh rides around, even though there's no snow. They put the wheels on them. And
So why do you do this?
it's just a hobby. I started when I was 13. I've probably taken 40,000 regular photos and probably 100,000 plus digital pictures.
Whoa.
And I've had a couple times where I've I was in a car accident one time down towards Chautauqua, and I almost got arrested for taking pictures. It was like, I got a cop that was like, really, why are you taking these? And it's like, I didn't say I worked with the media. I go, I just take pictures. Well, if you don't delete these pictures, I'm going to arrest you. It's like, oh yeah, here I got the kids sitting in the car up the hill, and they're not old enough to drive, and you're going to arrest me. So I held the camera up. I had some butterfly pictures on there from earlier, and I just deleted them. He let me go, but
Well, you lead a definitely interesting life. I do thank you for all the work that you do here at the studio. And what we're going to do here is we're going to take a call, and then you're going to switch with Jeff.
I'm going to switch with Mr. Zook. Which
All right. So I'm going to let you go, and I thank you once again. That's Randy Burfolks, our head cameraman here, and he's trying to figure out how to get out of his wire. So I'll go to Linda, and good morning.
Well, good morning, and Happy New Year to all of you. It's great to see you on the show
Thank you.
this gorgeous California morning.
Is the sun shining? We don't know. We're in the tomb
the
here.
sun is shining. It's glorious. Look at all the money people are saving. They don't have to get on an airplane to get to better weather. It's right here in Chautauqua County.
We were warmer than Texas the other day. I was looking.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. Especially after the winter that we had last year. This is a real treat.
I'm with you all the way on that, Linda. It was unbelievable.
I'm sorry for the tourist places that thrive on the winter events, but I'm sure that things will change, and the climate will get wintry very soon.
It all balances out, I think. You know, it's like anything else. It runs in cycles. So what's up these days? Did you have a good holiday, Christmas?
Yes, I did. I had a beautiful holiday, and I wanted to say it's so good to see all the volunteers who put together this terrific program.
Mm-hmm.
You and the Burts and Jeff Zook,
He's coming on next.
And Karen and Roy Harvey. I know they do a lot to contribute. So I want to thank everyone. It's just great to have a show like this.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you.
And I think there's a lot of places that do not have this privilege that we have.
That's awesome here. I love it.
Yeah, to have a live show that's call-in, or people can tweet or Twitter, whatever they want.
I don't Twitter, but I do everything else, I guess. So, Linda, what's going on at the Office of the Aging?
Well, we do have the services available, the senior services.
Mm-hmm.
They have just gotten through with their counseling for health insurance, senior health insurance, the different options.
Right.
And there's the New York Connects, where you can call and find out all what you may be interested in or have need for as far as different health care services are involved. And that does not have to be just for seniors. It can be of any age, people who are disabled.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of things going on. Of course, there's the dining out program.
Right.
There's our senior aid employment program and our free computer training program.
So if they want to know anything about any of this, there's the number right in front of me here.
That's the number, 753-4471.
There you go. Okay, awesome. Well, Linda, thanks again. As always, you have a wonderful New Year, and we'll look forward to hearing from you next year.
Well, thank you. I wish you a wonderful New Year, and I will be talking to all of you next year. Have a great weekend.
Okay, enjoy your family and your time together.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye. That was Linda Spaulding from the Office of the Aging. And now, you're the Wizard of Oz, really. He's the man behind the curtain. You never see
There
Jeff.
you go.
He's always running all these controls and these buttons. And Randy's taking our picture here. This is 100,101 pictures here. So welcome to the show, Jeff.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
We've heard from our IT. We heard from the cameraman, and really, I'm not kidding. You're like the wizard. You're running all the controls. So what do you do? And what do you call yourself here?
Well, actually, I think it's a switcher, and I sit there with about 3 different panels. Mm-hmm. One's a sound panel, and then I have the video panel, and then I have a computer that pops up all the little graphics along the bottom, that identifies the people, and I sit there and play with sound and picture, and I have boxes that control the camera. I can actually make them lighter or darker from in there. Randy has nothing to do with that. All he does is sit out here and
he's the front liner, right?
Yeah, he sits out here and jiggles everybody around. But usually there's a director or a floor director or something like that, but we run with a much smaller crew here. As you see, 4 of us actually run the show.
Right.
You sit here and
I just sit here and talk.
The rest of us kind of have worked together long enough. I've been here since summer of 2007. Started out with Reed, which that was a little bit of a shock to have Reed pass away on
Absolutely,
us.
yeah. Came out of nowhere.
It was really, really quick. But usually there's a lot more people involved, so we actually fill in 3 different roles, different times.
Right.
Most often, each one of those panels somebody does somewhere.
Like in a big net or
when you see these guys in the studio trucks for like National Football League, the NFL, there's 30 guys in that truck. All doing, but they've got a lot of cameras.
They're their specialty. And so.
But there's 2 or 3 directors. There's one main director, maybe a couple of other directors. A playback director. Instant replay, all kinds of stuff. So we get by without a lot of that stuff. We're not into that, but still, we still have to maintain sound. We still have to maintain video and graphics. And if we want to add any extra thing, we have a connection through computer that we can go directly online, show web pages from online,
right.
Video, whatever. So we do have a pretty good connection.
Yeah, I know that a lot of times when our guests will come in here, they're like shocked how nice the studio is.
Oh yeah,
and we really would be remiss. He's sort of the invisible man here. As you mentioned Chuck Kelsey. He's the grandpa. He's the granddaddy. He
founded this station.
He's the mover and shaker, the inventor of this whole studio. And we do want to do a shout out to Chuck and thank you for all the years of service that you've done for Access
We can't
Live.
forget Devin Taylor either.
Devin used to be a cameraman when I used to come on, if I remember right.
Yeah,
before Randy was.
Thanks to Devin Taylor and Chuck Kelsey and. Through franchise fees, they built this studio for us.
Spectacular.
And for those of you that don't know where it is, it's up the old high school. And
Mayville High School.
Mayville High School, up on top of the hill, opposite the courthouse in Mayville. It's in the old industrial arts shop area.
Yeah, Jeff has his initials on one of the floorboards here.
Yeah, it's over.
Jeff loves Mary Lou or something.
It's over there somewhere. So, but yeah, no, I actually did projects in this area when I was in high school here.
And we still are.
and we're still. This is a major project, and it's
really
an ongoing. Cool. And it is really cool.
Jeff, how in the world did you get involved with broadcasting? I mean. If I went over there and sat down, who knows what it would look like? But I mean, this is technology. This isn't just a simple matter of just flipping a switch. You really have to have a understanding. Where'd you get all that?
Actually, when I was in high school, I decided at that point that I wanted someday to go to school for writing and photography. Well, it took long story short, it took about 30 years or so until I was able to go back to school.
You took a shortcut.
Yeah, life happened in the meantime, and it took me a long time. But I ended up, after I worked at Ethan Allen for about 20 years. That shut down.
Right here in Mayville.
Right here in Mayville. And they offered school, so I went to JCC through their media arts program down there, and I started living a dream. It was great. I loved going back to school. I graduated out of JCC, and I said, now what? So I thought about it for most of the summer, and in the beginning of August, I registered for school at Fredonia. Well, 3 years later, I graduated with a bachelor's degree in communications, TV, digital film, with a minor in visual arts.
And there's all kinds of jobs here in Chautauqua County for that, right? You'd have to kind of like move away, or are there jobs?
There are some jobs, but basically, probably if I wanted to really get into something like that, I would almost have to start my own business.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yes.
Zook Enterprises.
But it's a tough field. It really is, because there are a lot of people out there doing it.
You're right.
And most anybody, Randy is, he does a lot of the stuff that he does just by trial and error, and anybody can
and
I'm
usually the error.
No, I thought okay, he's a trial. But anybody nowadays can get out there. There are lots of video photo programs, digital cameras. Everybody's got one on their phone nowadays,
right?
And there's a lot of input that can be put into into visual arts and graphics.
Okay,
and all that
and what
kind
I
of
was
stuff.
going with when I said that there aren't many jobs in the area, but you have the qualifications. You could go to like Buffalo or Erie or Cleveland. Not New York City quite yet, but a smaller market. But I mean, you have that. People don't realize you have that skill level here.
Yeah,
and it's untapped, really. And I'm always pushing Jeff. I say, well, let's try something more. Let's add this, and he's looking at me and go, okay.
It's kind of sometimes it's kind of unnerving when you try to push your boundaries.
We've pushed it a lot with Chautauqua Sunrise.
We really have. We've really pushed it a lot. We've gone from a 2-camera show to 3 cameras. We've done different things with the studio. We've moved cameras around.
The table, the shots, the mics.
It's just like, and
pop-ups.
All kinds of stuff. Like I said, we can tie in computers from online, websites from online, and all kinds of stuff. And in many ways, it is like a large studio.
And I thank you for that, because we couldn't have done it without you.
It's fun. It's one of the things that who spends Saturday mornings sitting in a room running cameras.
Right.
Not a lot of people. They're just, everybody loves taking those little selfies and all kinds of stuff with their cell phones and stuff. But just the pictures that we've got behind us here.
Right. And 2 of them are yours. The one behind you and the one behind me, aren't they?
Yeah. The one
they're gorgeous. Yeah. That's a beautiful maple leaf.
Whoops, let's go this way. This one here, I just was down by the Boy Scout camp, and I looked out there and said, "Oh, that's a nice picture." Click.
Absolutely gorgeous.
And we're going to be changing these photos up here after the first of the year, so we're going to have a new set of photos in here.
So stay tuned. We're not going to tell you what they look like yet. And it's your talent, yours and Randy's. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. So looks like we're about out of time.
Okay, best memory of the show.
Memory.
Or fun memory, anything.
How
about the gag Randy and I pulled on you?
Oh, the one where you guys weren't talking? They come in here, and I had everything all set, all turned up and everything else, and they started talking, but no sound.
We're just lip syncing.
They were trying to lip sync everything that morning. But best memory, I think, was probably the morning I walked into the studio up to the old, or up to Chautauqua Lake Central, and asked Chuck if I could volunteer time in here. And it's been really a nice journey.
Okay. Time's up, guys. You've heard from all the crew here, Chris, Randy, and Jeff. I thank you guys for a great half year so far. Doc Hamels, we'll see you next year. Happy New Year's. Take care.
Happy New Year.